As you can see by the calendar, this Friday we are getting the final Spotlight drop of the year for MLB The Show 25. Man, Spotlight has been pretty good this year. I actually really enjoyed Spotlight. There are obviously a few things that, you can make a debate on for the amount of cards that are in packs and collections and all that. But that's not what we're here for today. Today we're going to be doing the final predictions for the September Spotlight cards for the program, the pack, the lightning card, and the retro lightning card, all coming out this Friday on the 3rd. So let's get into it. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys become a channel member to receive exclusive perks such as roster update advice from someone who's made over 10 million stubs this year, one-on-one coaching, and access to the members-only Discord, link in the description. So starting off with the 6 program cards, we're going to talk about Matt Olson, and I think Matt Olson is a candidate for finest, and that's one of the toughest things about this video, was that there are so many players that are probably going to get finest cards, but it's like, who's going to end up in the spotlight or in the September spotlight instead of finest, so that was just pretty difficult. But I think Matt Olson is a good candidate for a spotlight card in this update. I think the Braves can have other players be their finest card, but ultimately, Matt Olson really had an underrated season considering the Braves' performance this year. Obviously, I'm not going to read off any stats. I mean, these guys are all in the video because they had good months of September. Matt Olson, he's going to have great defense, good power right, good contact left, good contact right, and good clutch as well. He'll be a nice first baseman. Moving on to Ivan Herrera from the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, obviously, they signed Wilson Contreras to play catcher, and then they moved him to first base not even a year later. So they needed someone to fill that position, and Ivan Herrera has had a solid season and really finished it off very well in the month of September. He'll be not insane defensively. He'll probably be around silver, right? But hitting-wise, 117, 125 contact, about there. 100, 113 power, 125 clutch. Obviously we already have so many good catchers in the game, but, I mean, can't have too many. Moving on, we have Bryson Stott from the Phillies. I feel like Bryson Stott is someone who is a little, I don't want to say it, like, he brings a lot of value. Obviously, he's a very valuable player, but he's never truly been like an amazing hitter. And he was a good hitter in the month of September, so I think that this is the perfect chance for SDS to give him a good hitting card. 114, 104 contact, 102, 95 power. He'll be amazing defensively, amazing speed, can play second and short. Obviously, there are cards that are better offensively, but that defense and speed is very valuable. Moving on to the Cincinnati Reds, who have had, I don't want to say they've had a great month of September, but they had a good enough month of September to sneak past the Mets for the last wildcard spot. But TJ Friedl is a very underrated player. We saw Spencer Steer in the drop 3 for September. I could see TJ Friedl being a part of the program. He'd be, a good contact and clutch, solid power, good vision, discipline, gold defense, solid speed in the outfield. Would be a good player for Reds theme teams, that's for sure. Moving on to Joey Cantillo from the Cleveland Guardians. Now, this is a team that, sure, they record-wise had a good month of September, but they're actually they're not real. Like, they're the luckiest team in the world. They don't hit the ball. They win games, so you can't really discredit that. But they didn't win yesterday against Tarek Skubal. But who knows? Their game's literally about to start as I'm recording this. But Cantillo, he had a great month of September, starter for the Guardians. Not going to have the best pitch mix, but he will have solid per-nines and very good clutch. Now, Jeff Hoffman has really struggled throughout the entirety of 2025 for the Toronto Blue Jays, but in the month of September, he was pretty good, being their closing pitcher. And I think that he's one of these guys that I don't think is going to get a finest just because of his overall season not being that good. So I think that this is the perfect opportunity for him to get his 99. Four-seam slider, splitter, sinker, that's a good pitch mix. He throws hard. He has good speed differentials. He'll have good per-nines, 118, 121, 125 clutch are my predictions. This would be a great free righty reliever. Now moving on to the pack players. First we have Yandy Diaz. Now Yandy Diaz is another guy that could easily get a finest, and he got a spotlight card in the month of June as a 96 overall, but we've seen a ton of players get multiple spotlight cards. There was one, Willie Adames. He had a July spotlight card, and then he ended up being the Lightning for July. So you can't rule that out anymore. You could get a second spotlight card. And obviously, Junior Caminero is a very strong candidate for the Rays finest. And obviously, a lot of teams will have more than one finest, but every team needs at least one. So I think that Yandy Diaz they could put into spotlight, and I think he would be a very underrated card. He'll probably have maxed out contact and clutch, good power as well. Obviously, his defense is not going to be as good. Moving on to Taylor Ward of the Angels. He had a pretty solid season for the Angels. Not too many bright spots for them, unfortunately, for the 11th year in a row now. But Taylor Ward had a very nice power hitting season, as shown by this card: 120, 125 power, 100, 110 contact, 112 clutch. Solid defense as well. We'll be able to play the corners. Carlos Cortez from the A's. I feel like the A's, now a lot of people kind of overrated them in the preseason, saying that they would make the playoffs. But ultimately, if you look at the A's season, I think they had a pretty solid year. Their lineup, they have a very they have a very bright future. It's unfortunate that the Oakland fans aren't going to be able to see it, unless they go to Las Vegas or just watch the games. But ultimately, Carlos Cortez, very strong month of September on the A's. 120, 114 versus right, 113 versus 110 versus left. The defensive flexibility is going to make this card super valuable. His live series card, he can play first, second, third, short, left, and right. So I'm assuming it'll be the same for the spotlight card. Moving on to Jesus Luzardo of the Phillies. Now, he had a very solid start to the year, and then he was just atrocious for a while. But in the month of September, he was very solid. Four-seam sweeper, not sweeping curve. Sweeper, circle change, sinker, slider. Again, if you haven't seen these videos, Showzone doesn't have sweeper in their card builder yet, so I just make it sweeping curve. So good pitch mix. He'll have solid per nines, great velo. This is definitely going to be a meta pitcher if we get a 99 Jesus Luzardo, based on the pitch mix and the velocity. Now moving on to Dennis Santana, another guy who previously got a spotlight card. He was in the month of May, and that card was pretty good, and I think that a 99 version of him would be even better. Another meta reliever that we could get: slider, four-seam, cutter, sinker, circle change. Great pitch mix, great velo, great speed differentials. He'll probably have hits per nine in the 120 and maxed out clutch. Case per nine is the only thing that I am a little worried about, but as long as it's over 100, then he'll be fine. Now moving on to the Lightning collections. For the henchman, I have Ian Happ from the Cubs. Now, Ian Happ is a guy who I think is very good in MLB The Show, who's had a very solid career, but he's never been like elite. But I think that this is the perfect opportunity for him to get a 99. He already has an awards card, which is only a 93. Came out a while ago. I think that, given his great month of September, this is a great chance for him to get a 99. And I think switch hitter, 117, 108, 105 contact, 120, 109 power, 122 clutch, good defense, or solid defense with a good arm and good speed in the outfield, that a lot of people will use this card. Switch hitters are super valuable. Now moving on to the Retro Lightning. I've been saying for like forever that there needs to be a pitcher for Retro Lightning. If we look back to all the Retro Lightnings, April was Carlos Santana, May was Bryce Harper, June was Bobby Grich, July was Ken Griffey Jr., August was Gary Sanchez. They're all hitters. We have not received a pitcher for the Retro Lightning. And if you talk about the regular Lightning cards, we've only had one pitcher in Tarek Skubal in May. I don't know why, but I think we're so due for a pitcher, and I think Tom Seaver would be a great one. In 1971, he had an insane September. He had 6 complete games. That's why the stamina is 125. And Tom Seaver's best cards can be good. Some of them have been bad. Some of them have been really good. And I think if we got this card with these attributes, these pitches, and those speed differentials, this card would be very good. And now lastly, let's talk about the Lightning player who I have, Jorge Polanco. Now, if you look at his numbers, yeah, he had a great month of September. I don't know if he would be the best player. Out of all the players that are options for the Lightning card, I don't know if he has the best stats, but I don't care. I think Polanco is the perfect choice. Everybody loves Jorge Polanco cards in this game. He'd be a switch hitter. He'd crush both sides, 116, 125, 125, 113, with 125 clutch. He'd be good enough defensively for second base, 70 fielding, 71 arm. Don't really think I would put him at third with that arm strength. He'll probably be low 70 speed. Everyone would love Jorge Polanco as this reward. I don't know if I don't know if he had a good enough year to have finest. Maybe he'd end up getting a postseason card if he does well for the Mariners in the postseason. But I think this is literally just a perfect opportunity for a 99 Jorge Polanco. So yeah, that's going to be for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. But most importantly, make sure to subscribe on here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.